Nosworth Thar, and for the very last time in 2025, welcome to the Stoke Kairas and a very warm welcome to Match Day Live. Wrexham squaring up to Preston North End this evening. The first time we have a return fixture in the division for the Red Dragons. Match day number 24. The Lily Whites, having held Wrexham up at Deepdale to a 1-1 draw a few weeks ago, will likely provide a stern test tonight for Phil Parkinson's team. Paul Heckingbottom's men riding high, 5th in the championship table. These two clubs have both drawn on 10 occasions this evening. That would be the nap if you were a bookmaker. But as we've said so many times on this show this season, the championship is a fairly unpredictable league to try and navigate. Trying to do that tonight for us, as ever, Andy Morell and Mia Roberts alongside me for Matchday Live. Good to see you both. I can't believe we're already at the last game in 2025, Mia. Where did the first half of the season go?
I know, what a year, but no, so many good moments. One of those I think has to be, on Boxing Day, to be honest. I mean, I think I've only just got my voice back from it. What a cracker, and obviously, like you say, hoping for the same again tonight, really, in terms of result. But looking at both sides' records and form at the moment, like you say, Preston, have become a bit of the draw specialist, like us as of late. So, could go either way.
Well, Phil is stepping into the studio. Thank you, Mia, for your initial thoughts. Phil, good evening to you. Good to see you again. Just 3 days on from that helter-skelter afternoon on Boxing Day. How long did it take you to recover?
Yeah, not long. We were ready to win the next day. I think it was important that we had a good session the next day for the lads who hadn't been playing for this Christmas period. The ones who played obviously did a recovery session, and then we all were together yesterday at a training session together, and yeah, ready for action tonight. And then obviously the lads have all day today to rest up and be ready for the evening.
You've gone with the same 11 who started on Boxing Day. I'm assuming that wasn't just a straightforward shoe-in, and you must have looked carefully at every player's data and checked they were ready to go again.
Yeah, definitely. We kind of had a look at everybody yesterday in training. A few were carrying knocks, and we just said, unless you're right, we'll make changes. But after the performance, I felt there was a spring in the step yesterday, and you've got to kind of detect that. We've got a strong bench if we need to change it round, but we played some good stuff the other night, and I think the lads deserve the chance to go again.
In terms of the style of the game tonight, Preston have made 4 changes to their side, Phil. Are you expecting the setup to be similar to the one that Sheffield United posed against you, or is this a very different animal for you to try and tame?
Well, different shape, because they play 3 at the back. Wing-backs, midfield 3-5-2, but they have changed to 3-4-3, so similar to us in many respects. So they've played Armstrong and Whiteman sitting with Devine and Froscar as 2 10s, and they've also played with Froscar just off Jefferson. So so it's slightly different in terms of the style of the team we come up against tonight. And of course they've got some good players, but it's about us producing again and showing the mentality that after a good performance and a good win and quite a bit of praise, I should imagine, now we've got to go again, and that's what I'm looking for from the group tonight, a real determination to go out and reproduce.
Preston unbeaten in the last 7, but 5 of those have been drawn, Phil. Are you anticipating Paul Heckingbottom to set up to be hard to beat tonight?
I think they have all season, really. They kind of press aggressively, but leave space in behind, and I think that's a key. A lot of the chances that they conceded have been from runners from deep in behind, third man runs, and we've got to look at that tonight. Lots of good individual battles tonight. Longy against Thierry Small on that right wing back, left wing back scenario. Obviously Tomo against Brad Potts, who comes in the team. So sometimes when the systems are similar, there's a lot of matchups, and it's about being better than your opponent on the night.
Just one last question, Phil. It's the last match, of course, of 2025. Your programme notes today were quite retrospective, looking across the year. If you were to pick out one highlight of the 12 months just gone in your role, I think I can perhaps guess it, but what would it be?
Yeah, the Charlton, the day, not just the game, the whole drama of the day was, it was just an amazing experience, really. And I don't think we'll ever forget the feelings we had in the morning, watching the other game, building up to our game. The atmosphere in this ground was probably right up there with the best we've had, and and there's so much on the day, because like I said in my programme notes, Charlton, and I had to chat with Nathan Jones about it over the summer, that they really fancied themselves, because if they'd beat us on that day, they then played Burton at home, and the final day we went to Lincoln away, which potentially was a lot harder game. So don't underestimate the value of that performance and that win on the day, because we're up against a very good side who went on to get promotion.
Well, Phil, here's hoping that there's many more days like that ahead for us at Wrexham to come. Thank you so much for joining us on Match Day Live, looking ahead to the battle against Preston North End tonight. One of the founder members, of course, of the EFL back in 1888. The Lily Whites were the Invincibles for the first 2 seasons since the EFL's conception, winning the title on both occasions. They've not managed to do so since. Andy, you said on Boxing Day evening, as we reflected on that win, who are you going to leave out then? Looks like Phil Parkinson was listening when we speculated about today's starting 11.
Yeah, I think he'd have been stuck between a rock and a hard place, really, because they were so good in the game. It is, who do you pull out of that team who would be buzzing after a 5-3 win? But then on the other hand, he'll have Hull in his mind, where he's stuck with the same lot and they didn't quite go again because for whatever reason. And so he's and I'm sure he was a sleepless night maybe last night, but I think he's done right, because like he said, I think there was probably a spring in their step. After a win like that against a really good team, there's only going to be a good buzz about the place in training the next day. And so there you go, boys. And like you said, we've still got a strong bench to change it if needs be.
Well, let's have a recap on that Wrexham starting 11 this evening, because it's an unchanged starting side and an unchanged bench from the team who excelled in action on Boxing Day, which means once more we will see Windass and Broadhead supporting Kiefer Moore in attack. So Okonkwo in goal, Cleworth, Hyam and Doyle seemingly becoming the settled back three. Thomason, who was so superb going forward, having a hand in 4 of the 5 goals on Boxing Day, will continue at left wing back. Sheaf and James in the middle, Longman at right wing back, and then Broadhead and Windass to buzz off Kiefer Moore and create from deep. And you can see the 9 subs there. Callum Burton as ever, reliable backup keeper. Connor Cody, Dan Scarr, Libby Kakachi, who we wait to see if he gets a return to the field of play having come back from injury. Ryan Barnett, George Dobson, Ollie Rathbone, Jay Rodriguez, who we saw for a short cameo on Boxing Day, and Sam Smith. Mia, a different setup Phil is anticipating from Paul Heckingbottom tonight to the one that Sheffield United offered. 3 at the back, the main difference. A team that are regularly drawing matches tends to be one that when they come away from home will set up perhaps not to lose rather than to go all out for the win.
Yeah, I think on Boxing Day, when they went to the Bet365 against Stoke, was one of the first times they actually played 2 strikers up top. Normally they've been leaving the one up there. That's normally been Jebison on his own, but Michael Smith actually played alongside him that day. So, they are quite, they are more defensive, particularly away from home. But even at home, they are so strong defensively at the moment. And, I think a few people have said they're just missing that little bit of creative spark in the midfield. And I think that's why maybe someone like Alfie Devine's come back in today. I think he only missed the Stoke game because there's a bit of illness in camp, I believe. But yeah, I think there's a reason why they're 5th in the playoff spots. Yes, they've been drawing a lot of games, but they haven't been losing games, and that's so important in this league. And they're picking up points at the moment everywhere they go.
Mia mentioning Alfie Devine there, Andy, on loan for the season from Tottenham, and they've also got Harrison Armstrong in midfield on loan for the season from Everton. So Paul Heckingbottom clearly feeling that young players with Premier League quality could be the answer to having a far better season in the Championship this year than they did last.
Yeah, and it's how do you compete with the teams that are coming down with the money that they have from the Premier League. We go out and try and get better players, but young ones that need to play some games, and they've done that with those 2 players, and they've really shone. And sometimes they come and it don't quite work out or whatever, but those 2 have really stepped forward and been counted in a team where an opportunity is presented to them, and they will probably be in January being in talks with their home clubs, if you like, to what do you want to do? Do you want to stay or do you want to come back? Because the way that they're playing, they could quite easily maybe be around their first team at their parent clubs.
Well, we've touched on Armstrong and Devine, who will be key players in the middle of the park tonight for visitors Preston North End. But we're going to have a look at a couple of other key matchups this evening between centre forward and centre back. And we're going to start by looking at Daniel Jebison, who will lead the line for Preston North End up against Callum Doyle. Now, some of you might remember that name because we were reminiscing on Boxing Day of the Sheffield United Wrexham epic FA Cup tie from 3 years ago. Jebison, then a Sheffield United player, sent off with 20 minutes to go, so I'm sure that will have been in his head as he ran out for his warm-up tonight, but he got his move to AFC Bournemouth. Now another player with Premier League attributes back on loan at Deepdale and up against Callum Doyle, once of Manchester City, of course, who took a while to establish himself at left centre back, but now becoming more assured in that position. Mia, 2 young players here going head to head with big futures.
Absolutely, I think, obviously, like you've touched on, Dan Jebison, got a really good move, another one of those ones that Heckingbottom's looking to develop and really utilise that sort of loan market that Preston, do ever so well. And then obviously Callum Doyle here on a permanent, which is, brilliant for us. And, I think a few people were maybe unsure of what he was when we first signed him. Obviously, a bit in and out with Lewis Brunt having a few opportunities there as well, but the last few weeks he's certainly made that position his own. I just think he's so progressive, for a young centre back on the ball. He's so keen to get forward. He drives us forward. I thought he was a big part of what we did so well on Boxing Day in terms of just being able to step on with that ball and have that confidence and even have a strike on goal if it opens up for him as well.
Bringing in young players, Andy, from Premier League clubs, you're generally, I think, going to get players who are technically very good. Clearly, if they're getting into squads in Premier League teams, they're going to be very high quality technical players. I guess the downside perhaps can sometimes be over a season, physical strength perhaps?
A bit, and naivety, inexperience, but what they have in experience, they give in effort and legs, and a lot of them are only 18, 19, and they're just willing to run and run all day. So you have to weigh that up with what you're bringing in, and is it right for the positions you're looking for. but if you fall on a couple of right ones, they can probably fall in your wage bracket as well, rather than going out and having to spend the money that they're probably 10, 12 million pounds worth of player, even at 18, 19. So I think you have to be very careful who you do bring in, but if you do get a couple of right ones, it can change your season.
Preston North End, of course, with a bit of a heritage of bringing in young players from Premier League clubs. A certain David Beckham spent a season on loan at Deepdale. Is a late teenager. Whatever happened to him? Let's have a look at another key matchup tonight at the other end of the park. Kiefer Moore, who is currently hot property around Wrexham with 12 goals to his name, 2 goals on Boxing Day, up against experienced centre-back Jordan Storey, once of Exeter City, but now 7 years at the heart of the Preston defence. And we can see on the stats there, Mia, how good Storey is in the air, because Kiefer Moore wins more than his fair share of aerial duels, but tonight he goes into a match against an opponent who's actually done even better than him in the air this season.
Yeah, he's been brilliant. I think he won about 8 out of 10 aerial duels against Stoke on Boxing Day. He was central of the 3 that day. I think tonight he'll probably move over to the right side with Lindsay coming back in, who again, that was a really interesting battle at their place, wasn't it, at Deepdale a few weeks ago. I thought he was probably the one that Moore should target a bit more tonight. I thought he won that battle at their place a few weeks back. So that's again, I think Kiefer Moore is going to be absolutely licking his lips at this one tonight, especially after how well he did on Boxing Day. And again, with obviously Broadhead and Windass looking to link up with him behind him.
If you're a defender, Andy, coming into tonight's game for Preston, you probably had a good look at the goals that Wrexham scored on Boxing Day. What do you think you're going to be trying to ensure that you don't do, learning from what perhaps Sheffield United came up short with a few days ago?
Well, I think Sheffield United got caught between looking after Kiefer but then not looking after our 2-10s. They didn't really deal with either very well. Kiefer was strong and we were picking up real good pockets in the middle. So I think there'll be definitely any longer balls. You've got to win that first ball on Kiefer. If you can do that, you've got half a chance. Then the second ball is even more important. Then can you be picking those bits up rather than Broadhead and Windass, for example? If you can do that, then you nullify all threats straight away. The problem is when we play short, and we do play through our lines, and we get Broadhead on, can you deal with that as well? Because it was a brilliant mix of the way we played on Boxing Day. So we're asking a lot of different questions to what we were maybe asking Preston in the 2 previous games, where it was up to Kiefer and we'll play off him. We can now play through those lines.
Yes, as Andy says, this is the 3rd meeting between these 2 clubs this season. A Carabao Cup tie which went in Wrexham's favour earlier in the campaign, and just a few weeks ago a very hard-fought draw at Deepdale. Well, 3 days ago on Boxing Day we saw a festive classic here at the Stoke Kairas. Sheffield United roared out of the blocks against Wrexham, but in the end it was the home side who ended a run of 5 games without a win in some style. Let's have a recap of what happened on Friday.
As Wrexham start and immediately are getting on the front foot, so kicking in a direction Wrexham like to kick in the second half.
So difficult to turn a ship round, and then once you get a few players dropping out of there, it's so difficult to get them back. But fair play to Chris Wilder, he's come in.
Bamford scores out of the blue, an absolutely magnificent goal. Nothing given, surprisingly. James, though, gets a loose ball, feeds it on quickly. Jong is saying, quick, get across, because he can't. Across the face, put back in, it's there! Wrexham equalise, an own goal! Knocked into his own goal by Bindon, who had no chance. Windass did so well. Exchanging passes of O'Hare, and Arblas spinning it across to the right-hand side. Sariki sweeps a great ball in, and Bamford scores! And it's fabulous delivery. He was there waiting, wasn't he? Is it going to go in the box, out the box? It was out the box. Long throw to the near post, a gun by McCullum, comes off a defender, that's 3! Oh, that is so frustrating. O'Hare scores. The long throw does for Wrexham. Sheaf completely unmarked on the edge of the area. Hyam has been taking up a sort of half-and-half position. He's gone back to the edge of the box now. Thomason fizzes that in! And Wrexham get a goal back! Moore heads it home. What a game this is. Brilliant delivery that, and the keeper, he can't get off his line before the ball is past him. Windass picks it up on the left, works it round the back. Thomason's onside, chips to the far post, and it's there! Ryan Longworth, his first goal at the race course. And Wrexham, after a quiet start to the half, strike with our first real spell of possession. Longman gets it up so well, but Thomason, wow. This guy's not a wing back. Well, he crosses line. Well, that was a lovely build-up and a great delivery. As Wrexham get a lucky ricochet. Broadhead's racing forwards now. Moore in support. Thomason trying to get there. Broadhead cues ball to Moore. Hits it. Yes! Oh, that's tremendous. Absolute wildfire from Wrexham. Oh, Wrexham worked out beautifully on the left-hand side, and Broadhead is in. Thomason outside, and he feeds Thomason in. That's a penalty every day of the week. A wild challenge. But Wrexham are on fire getting forwards.
Don't stand on, just stand on it, stop them playing forward. And it's Broadhead on the half turn, and we've seen him just roll one in the path of Keeper Moore to score. He's just done that for Thomason.
Right foot, it's 5! Wrexham 5, Sheffield United 3. There's the final whistle. Wrexham 5, Sheffield United 3. Oh my goodness, what a performance by Wrexham. Happy Christmas.
An epic Boxing Day in the end for Wrexham. It all looked so different, didn't it? 3-1 down, 25 minutes into the game. But an imperious second half performance sent the best part of 11,000 fans home happy, and Wrexham back up to 13th in the league. The one thing we haven't seen, though, so far this season, Andy, has been back-to-back league wins. How much will that be on the minds of the players tonight as they prepare to run out here?
Well, I think Phil Parkinson alluded to it at the start. He wants a good performance to back up how good that performance was on Boxing Day. So can we go out the traps? Can we play our football? Can we get on the front foot like we did? I know we conceded a couple of goals, but we were better second half in defending our box. But can we still have that threat of getting those boys in the 10 in the holes, get on the half turn and causing a lot of problems going forward? I think it's just that energy that we lacked when we went to Hull after a good performance. We've got to go again, and can we just push and push and push and give everything tonight to get 3 points?
Well, the man trying to ensure that doesn't happen tonight will be Preston North and manager Paul Heckingbottom, assisted by Stuart McCall, two players who had stellar careers before moving into management. And Heckingbottom, despite having a difficult season last year at North End that almost ended in relegation, recruiting seemingly very astutely over the summer in the loan market in particular, and will be trying to outwit Phil Parkinson tonight. Let's have a look at the two managers in profile, because Heckingbottom perhaps hasn't quite had the win percentage, Mia, that Phil Parkinson has enjoyed at Wrexham, but in truth he perhaps hasn't had the opportunities in terms of squad strengthening. He's now seemingly starting to turn that corner, and he has the pedigree, of course, having led Sheffield United up into the Premier League and managed them there, at least for a while.
Yeah, and of course was manager here for Sheffield United for that FA Cup tie as
well. He was, the 3-3.
Yeah, we've talked about that a few times over the last few days, haven't we? I know, but worth getting another one in.
I think so.
But no, a top manager, I think a really good coach as well. And I think, again, going back to the point on using the loan market, I think that shows, the fact clubs are happy to send their players to him. They know he's going to be able to develop them and give them the right attributes and sort of messages in their young careers. So, he's a top manager. And listen, I think today's a really good matchup, a really good test for this Wrexham side. Like Andy says, I think it's all about, we've said it so many times, they're so good at responding to defeat, but can they respond after a really positive performance? I think it was a draw, wasn't it, after the Coventry game? So tonight, can we just go that extra step ahead and get another 3 points?
And we mentioned at the top of the programme, Mia, these are two clubs with deep histories. Wrexham, of course, the third oldest club in the world, but Preston weren't far behind them, founder members of the EFL back in 1888. But perhaps what some viewers might not know is that they also were the home of a pioneering women's football team in the 1920s, who perhaps don't have the profile that their success deserves. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Dick Kerr Ladies, one of the biggest clubs in the UK in English football, and as you say, if it wasn't for the ban on women's football by the FA, then probably would have been some of the biggest names in the world perhaps to this day. So yeah, a lot of history there worth having a look at. I'm sure there's a book or a movie in there somewhere that Hollywood should try and pick up. Maybe, you know, I'll get my credit in there now. Get my percentage.
I think you should.
Absolutely.
This was the 1920s, wasn't it, Mia? That was the sort of era.
Yeah, you know, getting crowds of 50,000, you know,
Wow.
on a weekly basis sort of thing, and obviously around the time of the war when a lot of the men were going off to war, and the women sort of took over and said, you know, we can do this football thing as well, actually. So yeah, real shame. Obviously, there's a lot of history in the women's game, and you know, it's, as you say, worth having a look at for sure.
Are you casting yourself in that?
Yeah,
Steady. Go and look up the Dick Kerr ladies. Preston, a club with a rich history with both men's and women's team. And before we came on air tonight, Andy and I had the chance to catch up with a little bit of more recent history connecting Wrexham and Preston North End. Brett Ormerod represented both clubs with distinction a few years ago, and he's here tonight. So we had the chance to catch up with a man who enjoyed playing in the Premier League, the FA Cup final, and for Blackpool, Southampton, Preston and Wrexham, among others, to get his perspective on the Preston team of today and to reminisce a bit with Andy about their time together at Wrexham just over a decade ago. Brett, welcome back to the Stoke Kairas. Really appreciate you joining us on Matchday Live this evening. Now, you, of course, played for both of tonight's clubs, a spell at Wrexham, which we'll come to with Andy in a moment, but before that, 3 seasons at Preston. When you compare the two clubs, the two stadia, the fan bases, are they two similar types of clubs, or do they differ quite a bit, Brett?
I think they probably differ slightly in the location, and obviously that's an obvious one, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, they're both fantastic football clubs. They've both got massive history, you know, and both massive fan bases. You know, Preston have. I think with Preston at the moment, you've got to look at them. In the Championship, as if to say, you know, there's a hell of a lot of big teams in there. They've only had a few who haven't been in the Premier League, so they've got to cut the cloth accordingly with budget. But they seem to do it every year, and this year Paul Heckingbottom has managed to put together a really good team who are in the playoffs. You know, if I've asked any Preston fan in the summer, would you be happy with the playoffs come at Christmas time? Especially with it last season, because it nearly fizzled out and they nearly got dragged into a relegation. But he's managed to get his players in this season, and what I've watched of them so far this season, they've been value for money, and been, you know, really competitive in every game, and they're tough to beat.
And just taking you back to your time here when I signed you, I think you were going to go to Bury.
Yeah.
You were on your way there when we rang and tried to put a deal together for you. Why did you end up choosing us ahead of Bury?
Well, obviously, I wanted to work with you because we've been at
thank
Blackpool.
you. Yeah,
you know, and Billy Barr, I'd known Bill because Bill had been at Preston. Billy was the assistant manager when I was at Preston. And it was, for me, at that point of my career, I was at the back end of my career. I played and scored in every league, in the Football League, and I'd also played for Accrington Stanley when I left Blackburn Rovers as an apprentice in the league below, the Northern Prem it was called then. Yeah. And it was the fact that it was an opportunity to come and play for a big club like Wrexham, and to play in the conference, because it was the last league I hadn't played in. I wanted to play in it and hopefully score in it. And I thought it was, you know, in my life I've had promotions and things, and I've just thought if I could come here and help Wrexham achieve promotion, and you know, and do something with Wrexham, it would be, you know, and this is no disrespect for Bury, a far better achievement to get them back into the league or into the cup final, which, you know, than what we did, rather than just, you know, maybe a mediocre season in what was League One then. So I just felt it was a better challenge. I didn't really, you know, when you're travelling down 2 hours at 35 and you're like the Tin Man of the Wizard of Oz every day you get out of training. When I had to drive past Bury's ground from Blackburn, I'm thinking what? But no, I mean, I don't regret it. I had 2 wonderful years. The first year was, and we should have gone up, shouldn't we? We were a better team on the day, and you know, people going about that miss.
Two memorable games we had under you while you were here
at Wembley,
twice.
Yeah,
I mean, first time in the club's history.
I think the best I played was in the playoffs, Kidderminster, home and away.
Yeah, you were amazing.
Home and away.
Scored a brilliant goal.
Yeah, I think I set big Dave, myself. He was the slowest man in the world. Man. He used to run backwards and make a noise like he was reversing, didn't he? No,
no, you were brilliant in that first leg away, especially where you scored a brilliant goal.
And but I mean, the playoff final. I just remember them. We were battering them, weren't we? And they hit us on the break, and then we threw everything forward. And then
your miss?
Yes. Well, I did the fans forum, right? And first of all, it wasn't on purpose, but I used to get tagged. It was like a 2-yard pass, and it was up here, if I remember. And I couldn't get my leg up. But first of all, he should have put it in. So I threw under him.
I hit the target.
Yeah,
so
you did.
Every striker should.
What I did say at the fans forum, I could come down. What I did say is that. When the two big American, obviously Ryan Reynolds and Rob, I can't say his last name.
Rob Mack.
Yeah,
Rob Mack.
Rob Mack. Yeah, Rob Mack. We're looking for a project. I believe it was a non-league project between Wrexham and Notts County. So I said, well, if I'd have scored that goal, we'd probably gone in the league, and then, this might never have happened. So I said, so to the room, you're all very welcome. So, we had that miss. It could have been the most important miss in Wrexham's history. So that's the way I look at it. So I didn't actually get the achievement of promotion, but in a weird way, it's come back round, and so I'm very proud of that.
Take the credit for that, Brett. Take the credit. We're happy to give that to you.
Yeah, thank you.
And just turning eyes then to Preston this evening, as you say, they're going nicely at the moment. They're fifth under Paul Heckingbottom. They draw a lot of games, Brett. Last season they drew 20. That was the highest number in the league, and as you say, they narrowly stayed up. So what are they doing differently this season, and what do Wrexham need to be aware of tonight in terms of the threats P&E will bring?
They play 3 at the back. They've got really good attacking. I think it's Small and the Spanish lad they've got, name escapes me at the moment. They've got him on a free. What a player he looks, by the way.
Chef Wednesday.
So they're solid. They've got good energy in midfield. Armstrong, the lad from Everton, he's been
Harrison Armstrong, centre mid.
He's been sensational. So much so that I think Preston a bit, because Moyes is I think David Moyes is pretty much might recall him at Christmas. So from a Preston point of view, that and obviously he's been rotating the forwards, but it's just a work ethic. They look a threat. They're very solid. They don't concede that many, and they're good on the counter. So it'll be a tough game. It'll be a good game tonight. They played really well at Stoke. I did the Stoke game and should have won. It was pretty. There wasn't much in it, but Preston had the better chances, and looked the more threatening in away at Stoke. So it should be a good game tonight.
You were mentioning the Preston fans, Brett, at the start of this discussion, and they've seen their team rock solid in the Championship for years, really. 11 seasons consecutively in the Champ. They've been mid-table every year, bar last year, as you mentioned, where they almost slipped down right at the end. Do you think they see themselves as a genuine potential Premier League team? Because they've never been there in the Premier League era.
No, I mean, obviously when I were there, we always under Billy Davis, we used to get in the playoffs, and we got in, and we drew at Ellen Road. Nugent scored for us, and it's the game that I broke my leg in 6 places in the second leg. And I remember being in the hospital and then saying, and they come back, it was a quad, breaking 5 places, ripped my ankle ligaments, and then the nurse come in and said, Leeds have scored, and then it was like Leeds have scored again. So. They got beat previous off West Ham in the final. They've always been near and near there, but it's always been just a bit
getting over that line.
Yeah, getting over that line, and we know the Championship's such a competitive league. I mean, there's no league like the Championship. I do an accumulator trying to pick 5 results and have more chance of picking 6 balls and a bonus ball and getting that goal and coming down saying it's you, because it's so unpredictable as the Championship, isn't it?
It's amazing.
And it's always,
we say that every week.
And the league, it's like from relegation to mid-table, you lose 2 games and you could be dragged down, but you win 2 and you're looking at the playoffs. As much as it makes it one of the most exciting leagues, I think. But it is very, very tough to get out of, especially when you've got the 3 teams who come down, who have the budgets and the thing to.
I think this year's different because the 3 teams aren't as competitive as they have been in previous years.
No, they haven't, and
that's why it's wide open.
Yeah, and it's tough. Southampton have struggled, Portsmouth have starting to get their act together, and Leicester have they're like a rudderless ship at the moment. I put my teeth back in and said, rudderless ship.
Yeah.
And that's testament to everyone else. But it's that biggest word in this league is consistency, and if you can be consistent, you're going to be there and thereabouts come May.
Just finally, Brett, could you see Wrexham being a Premier League club?
I'd love to. I think I'd love them to be, because I think, again, I'll go back to when Moss. Obviously, the fans took over. When I came down, very aware that it was the public's paying money to step in to stop this club still being here. you know, and I think that's karma. That I think that's a big reward for him and they're getting all the success of that now. And you know, he was a big part of it. I love most of it. We meet up a lot, don't we? At Blackpool and that and stuff. So yeah, I mean, he's been a big part of that as well. So yeah, I'm very lucky that I've been involved in a lot of different clubs. Blackpool being one, and you know, I'm very proud to say I played here for 2 years as well. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice to be part of a history, and hopefully there's a lot more success to come here.
Brett, huge thanks for joining us on Matchday Live. Absolute pleasure to have you with us. Enjoy the game tonight.
Thank you. Cheers.
The ebullient Brett Ormerod giving Andy and I his thoughts ahead of tonight's game. Great to see Wrexham's former striker back here in a media role tonight, watching on to see which of his two former clubs will prevail this evening. Well, of course, 2025 has been a really big year for the Wrexham AFC Foundation. And just before Christmas, their latest local programme roared into life. Let's have a catch-up on what's been happening with the Gift a Ball programme. Elgin Williams takes up the story.
So today we're in Kaya Park as part of our Gift a Ball campaign. Gift a Ball campaign is around providing children in the community with a football at Christmas, and the campaign's been absolutely fantastic. The generosity of the fans, the club staff, the players and also the academy lads has just been brilliant, and it's enabled us to put 300 footballs at the feet of 300 children across Wrexham.
I think for us, you know, me, Max and Connor coming down here today, kind of just seeing the kids having, you know, as much fun as they possibly can. I think it's a great thing that the club are doing, and we've just come down to try and give a helping hand. We've been told about it being a deprived area, and I think sometimes that just showing the faces and just showing that people care, just showing that Wrexham are here, you know, trying to help the community, you know, and the fact that obviously they do get a little bit of a gift, I think it will go, you know, a very, very long way. So I think for us as a football club, as us players, to be able to have the opportunity to help, you know, we'll always be able to do that.
I think when the players turn up to any event, I said it the other day, that it's like bringing a superpower, a superhero to your actual event. It's something that you remember for the rest of your life as a young child, the first time that you met the players. We're only, a couple of miles away from the racecourse here, and these guys will remember it for the rest of their life, that Max, Connor and Matty came down, took part in a session and gave them a football. It's lifelong memories, isn't it? So we're lucky to be part of a football club that allow the players to engage in the community so much. It's not just about the football being given away. That football's going to be used over and over again. Those kids are going to use it to stay active. They're going to use it to bring people together. It's what we're all here for is, like I said, a football club that brings the community together, and without a football, we can't do that.
The Gift a Ball programme, hugely successful just before Christmas. And we've got the opportunity now on Matchday Live to catch up with one of the stars of that film, Head of Community at Wrexham, Jamie Edwards. Jamie, thanks for making time to join us on Matchday Live. I've got to ask you first, what was your first football?
My first football, it was a Mitre multiplex, which we managed. My next door neighbour gave it to me. It was a training ball of Hereford United's that had ended up in a Jewson's warehouse or yard because they trained right behind it, and it managed to find its way to my back garden. So remember it fondly.
Finders keepers.
Exactly.
And Jamie, clearly the Gift a Ball programme making big impact. 300 balls at the feet of children in the locality just before Christmas. What led to this as an idea?
The idea, we've got to give credit to Elgin Williams, our programme manager within the foundation, and Megan Buckley, who's our Street Dragons officer. The club wanted to do something for Christmas, as they do every single year. We wanted something that would make a huge impact, and We've seen these children now for the last 12 months since the Street Dragons programme started. We knew what football does. Football connects people. We can hear behind us in this stadium every other week you see people connected, and it's through football. And we can't do that without a football. And it's what we do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday now across Wrexham. We see these children, and we thought the best thing we could do was give them a football so they could be active outside of our sessions. They could connect more friends and more people outside their sessions. And hopefully we're going to see family and friends playing with those footballs all over Christmas, and a lot longer than that as well.
The last match today for the Wrexham men's team of 2025, and it pretty much draws the curtains on the year for the AFC Foundation as well, Jamie. We've got a chance now on screen just to have a look at some of the key numbers from the 24 to 25 programme that Jamie and his team have delivered, both locally in the Wrexham area and further afield as well. And you can see those stats on screen as well. Almost 21,000 visits across the delivery programmes, almost 8,500 participants, over 3,000 match tickets given away, nearly 900 sessions and events delivered, strong female participation, and 180,000 raised for the Wrexham Miners project. Sitting on top of all that, Jamie, is the top of the tree in the Community Foundation role. You must be delighted with those stats.
Yeah, I think we're all really proud of where it's come from. It wasn't a standing start. There was a foundation for the foundation here. There's obviously great support from fans, great support from the board of directors, all the way through to everybody that you saw with the Christmas appeal that want us to be part of the community. So it gives us a really good base. It gives us something to really kick on to as well. Gives us a score to beat. Everybody in a football club loves a league table, loves a score that we want to beat. So I know our staff within the foundation and across the football club will really want to better that next season as well.
The Gift a Ball programme, clearly a very local initiative, but I know there's a programme linking Wrexham and Philadelphia which is really gathering pace. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so Rob Mack was really supportive and helped host a gala dinner in LA, which was absolutely fantastic. One of his wishes were that some of the money raised from that would benefit obviously Wrexham, but also somewhere in the US. We're delighted that we've chosen a site in Philadelphia where we'll be regenerating a school pitch or a school court or a schoolyard, I think they call it, in Philadelphia, which will basically give access to a lot of students in that area, both during school time and out of school, to have activity, which you'll see in the new year the pictures of what it currently looks like and to what it'll be regenerated by May 2026, which will be fantastic. It's called Power to Play, and again it links with that football theme, and the football that we've given away for Christmas is to make sure that children and young people in their communities have access to play football. And we've also pinpointed 2 within Wrexham, which hopefully if the plan goes together, simultaneously we'll be opening a pitch in Philadelphia and 2 pitches in Wrexham, which will be unbelievable if it can all happen at the same time.
Fantastic. Well, fingers crossed for that, and keep us posted. New York half marathon as well. We know there was a delegation from the club who ran that last year. Is that a plan again for 26?
Yeah, we're currently recruiting at the moment. I think people have seen how lumpy the course is. It's a great experience. I was lucky enough to do it myself. But it is lumpy and it is a long way. So we're recruiting at the moment. We'll be doing that in May. It's the same weekend as Mother's Day, so there's an excuse there, and it's also the home game against Swansea as well, so there's another excuse of why you wouldn't be able to do a half marathon. Trying to recruit Humphrey, but I think somebody's going to have to donate a lot of money for Humphrey to take part in running ever again, to be honest.
I get the impression Mr. Carr's probably hung his trainers up.
Yeah, I think they're nailed to the shed door somewhere, yeah.
And just finally, Jamie, power chairs clearly an area of development for you over the year, and I know you've put a recent investment into some new technology there.
Yeah, we again, the platform was there before I arrived, the power chair team, and before even the owners came in, to be honest. The power chair was something the club were really proud of. What we'd identified was that they were fantastic people that played every week, we trained every week, didn't have the opportunity to play. So we put them into a Northwest Development League for power chairs, and they played in that, and the power chairs that they had were probably, some of them were 15 years old. So we've we've obviously upgraded six chairs through donations from the 50-50 half-time draw. The previous half-time draw and the current one, which is fantastic for the players. We unveiled that just before Christmas. We had Danny Ward and Jay Rodriguez come over and try the chairs, which were they realised how hard it actually is and how skillful it is, and also the manager came across to see the skill level that's involved. So those players really want to be the best that they can be, and the chairs are part of obviously being able to facilitate that.
Well, Jamie, as ever, great to have you with us on Matchday Live. Some superb progress over the last 12 months, and we look forward to much more in 2026 as all those initiatives continue and you develop more.
Brilliant, thank you.
Jamie Edwards, the head of the Wrexham AFC Foundation, who continues to lead a dedicated team both locally and further afield in spreading the force for good that football can be, bringing it to deprived communities and widening the reach of the Wrexham club impact. Building up to kick-off now here at the Stoke Kairas, just 5 minutes or so before the players will be coming out. Let's have a look with Andy and Mia around the fixtures taking place today, because we've had one early game which is closing in on completion between top of the table Coventry and third place Ipswich, and a shock at the Ricoh Arena if it stays this way. Ipswich leading by a 1-0 with just a short amount of time to play, so that would be an upset and would further consolidate Ipswich's excellent surge up the table. Let's have a look at what else is happening. Leicester and Derby with a Midlands derby also kicking off at 7:45 as we are here at Wrexham. Middlesbrough face Hull, a derby of sorts in the northeast. Millwall and Bristol City squaring up. Norwich facing Watford. Oxford, under the temporary leadership of Craig Short, facing Swansea. Portsmouth and Charlton, two teams who've struggled of late, are facing one another at Fratton Park. Bedraggled Sheffield Wednesday squaring up to Blackburn. Stoke against Sheffield United. It's West Brom against QPR. And the game starting a little bit later than all the others tonight at 8:15. Birmingham against Southampton. Mia, what stands off the page in tonight's programme?
Yeah, well, first of all, we caught a bit of that Coventry-Ipswich game, and from the looks of it, it was all Ipswich, so I'm not really too surprised to see that they have gone 1-0 up. Obviously, Coventry still unbeaten at home, but, looking through the other fixtures, really, they all sort of, look like good games, as we always say in this league. It feels like anyone can beat anyone. I think that Southampton one for me is maybe one to look out for, definitely. They look like they were going to go on a really good run now, but then drop points to Oxford, so again, you just don't know, do you? But could be an interesting result for Ipswich. That they look like they could really go on a very good run now to the end of the season in the new year.
The Leicester derby one for me is a local derby, and that should be a feisty affair tonight. I think Leicester really need to pull their finger out, especially at home, because the fans are a little bit wavering at the moment, so they've got to put one over on their local rivals if they're going to get anything out of it.
Just returning to Ipswich, Mia, as you were suggesting just at the end of your previous point, Ipswich at the start of the season, I think, were a lot of people's favourites. They kept faith with Kieran McKenna, who guided them up last time. They didn't start that quickly. They now seem to be finding their groove, and that could be ominous for Middlesbrough in terms of the second automatic promotion place, assuming that Coventry will have enough space between them and their rivals to continue to be in the top two.
Yeah, I think so. I think we've obviously already seen a lot of change this season. Obviously Stoke dropping out of it in the last few weeks as well, and yeah, Ipswich for me, I think that point away at their place was a massive point. That result felt huge that day, and yeah, they've got a very good squad. I think it's pretty normal for one of the teams relegated to maybe come down and not have the quickest of starts because they haven't quite got that momentum, but they're certainly finding their feet again now.
Andy, I just wonder as well in the second half of the season whether the league will start to shake down a bit, and some of the clubs that came down last year and some of the more favoured sides at the start of the season might also start the march.
Yeah, quite possibly, but I still think you're going to have these results that are happening every weekend that we're seeing, that somebody that's in fine form will get beat away handsomely, if you like. Also, yeah, I'm looking at Ipswich. I think if they beat Cov tonight, they'll be going, we'll aim for Cov, not that second spot. I think we're going to go, because I think they've got that good a squad, and they've managed to keep McKenna because he was linked with Celtic, wasn't he? So I think that's a brilliant signing if they can keep him, and then they are strong. And if once this momentum goes, then I think they could well keep going for that top spot.
Andy, Mia, I'll let you head off to commentary with Mark Griffiths over on iFollow. We'll see you at half-time. Andy Morell and Mia Roberts back with us at the interval here on Match Day Live tonight. And don't forget, you can get your face on the fan wall, either the one inside the stadium here at the Stoke Kairas or the one that we throw up on our graphic during the periods of play in the first and second half. You can follow the QR code on screen and choose the backdrop you want that tells us where in the world you're watching or where in the ground you're watching if you're here at the Stoke Kairas this evening. You can probably hear the crowd building up to kick off. The Declan Swans belting out around the Stoke Kairas. It is a still evening. It's chilly, but it's perfect footballing conditions in midwinter North Wales. Wrexham unchanged from that team who were victorious on Boxing Day by 5-3 over Sheffield United. Preston making 4 alterations as they arrive at the Stoke Kairas, and Paul Heckingbottom and Phil Parkinson presiding over the teams who've drawn more matches than any others in this league this season, both of them drawing on 10 occasions since the start of it. This is the beginning of the second half of the season then, the first return game for Wrexham as they look to see out 2025 in style against one of the nation's longest established football clubs. Can Wrexham go back-to-back for the first time this season, or will the Lily Whites come and spoil the party? Well, we'll be here at half-time in around 50 minutes to give you the reaction to the first half and see how things are panning out. Please join us then when we'll also have former Wrexham legend Gareth Owen joining us on Match Day Live. We hope to see you then, same link on YouTube, in 50 minutes' time. Bye for now.
That time again, we're going to knock the boys and make some noise. Online Wrexham! Mae'r pedwerydd swyddog wedi dynoddi ddynallai at symud 2 munud ychwanegol. The fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 2 minutes, and in time that's 2 minutes.
Half-time here at the Stoke Kairas, and it's Wrexham 1, Preston North End 0. Nathan Broadhead, the difference between the two sides. His precise 39th minute header from a Kiefer Moore cross, proving decisive at the interval. Moore the provider on this occasion, getting away from Jordan Story down the right. A quality delivery, and Broadhead getting away from Liam Lindsay, powered his header past Daniel Everson. It was Broadhead who'd gone closest for Wrexham before the breaking of the deadlock. A weaving run from midfield, setting himself for the shot. It looked for all money like the net would be bulging, but on this occasion the Welsh international's finish just wide of Everson's upright. It's been entertaining, not quite Sheffield United on Boxing Day entertaining, but there's still been threat at both ends of the pitch. Arthur Okonkwo making a key save back in the 10th minute to deny Brad Potts from close range. But just before the interval, both Moore and Windass limped off for Wrexham. Neither of them were replaced with a substitute, so Wrexham finished the first half with 9 men just for the last few seconds, and no doubt will have the half-time break to assess if either Moore or Windass can continue, or if 2 substitutes are required at the start of the second 45. Andy Morell and Mia Roberts have been watching on. Andy, how have you seen it?
Well, I think it's a fascinating game to watch, with both teams tactically trying to move each other around and play through the thirds and get their 10s on the ball and rotate around. It's a brilliant one, and defensively as well, both teams really good in their defence, their communication between each other to go and pick up who goes in, who stays, etc. I think it's fascinating, but the one bit of quality that we got from Moore out on the wing, what he's doing out there I don't know, but the quality of cross was beautiful, and Broadhead, not known for his heading ability, but pulls off, makes himself a yard, and then just redirects the header back the way it's coming and into the bottom corner. It's a beautiful header, it's a really good goal, and it's the difference between 2 good teams.
Mia, on that occasion, clearly Kiefer Moore getting the better of Jordan Story, but they were one of the matchups we looked at pre-match. Across the 45, who would you have said has had the edge in those 2 squaring up?
Yeah, I think it's been a really good battle. I don't actually think we've sort of hit Kiefer Moore airily too much in this game. I think we haven't necessarily been that direct. We've had to try and work things, more in the middle of the park and try and break things down that way. I think, like Andy says, tactically it's fascinating. I think those sort of wide centre backs on either side are often the outlet, are often the spare man, and the pressure's sort of on them. If they can make that breakthrough pass, which we've seen Callum Doyle do a few times, that's the answer. But also transitions. I think obviously that the Wrexham goal from our 2 boys from Cymru, that's what's going to cause. That's where both attacks are going to find joy, because that's where the spaces are on those counters and transitions.
Let's have a little look at the half-time stats before we bring in Gareth Owen, who is our special guest, to get his thoughts on the opening 45 and Wrexham's season to date. Well, possession pretty much even Steven, 52 against 48%. The shots pretty steady as well. Just the one clear-cut chance, that was when Broadhead cut through and created the space for himself. We've just seen the 1 corner so far, so certainly a very different hue of a game than we saw on Boxing Day, but still an entertaining one nonetheless. We'll have a look now at the defensive statistics and get Mia to pick out perhaps the key one on the defensive analysis. Steady 5 tackles won in each case. Wrexham making the more clearances, and Preston having the better in the air with the aerial duels, 58-42.
Yeah, I think it's been, like we say, fascinating. I think, those aerial battles, obviously, if we're going to lose Kiefer Moore in this second half, that could be a real key moment in this game. And obviously you have to look at Josh Windass, like you said as well, Chris. But, if someone like Sam Smith's coming on, what's he going to bring? That's an opportunity for him as well to see if he can link up with those 2 if they're going to be behind him still.
Mia, Andy, I'll let you go and have a breather, and we'll bring Gareth into the studio. Fantastic to have Gareth with us on Match Day Live this evening. Nearly 500 appearances in red from 1990 to 2001. Gareth, awesome to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on Match Day Live this evening. What did you make of the first half?
No problem, and thanks for inviting me, Chris. Yeah, the first half was a pleasure for us to see the midfield box 4 and 2 wing backs and the number 9 with Kiefer Moore up there. It was a pleasure for me to experience that because I'm fully familiar with the box midfield because that was the system that Wales were familiar with leading into the Euros. But it was like a boxing match, they come on to us, we went at them, but it was a pleasure to see us go 1-0 up at the end of the day.
And Gareth, if we look back now, halfway point in the season tonight, match number 24 and the first of the opportunities to play a team for a second time, how would you assess Wrexham's progress in the first half of the season, and what do you think is realistic for supporters to think about for the second half of the season ahead?
Firstly, it's been a fantastic experience for us to be in the Championship again. It was. I would well have been happy with this surviving in the Football League in the first instance, but Phil has done a fantastic job of getting us up to an unprecedented back-to-back promotions. I feel if we make a couple of signings in the window, I think we'll at least scrape into the playoffs. That will be an achievement for us. Although to avoid relegation for me, that was all that counts.
I think those were some of the phrases we were using at the start of the League One season, weren't they, when we first went up there? People were like, let's just make sure we stabilise, and of course we exceeded expectations. But you think the playoffs potentially realistic with a couple of January signings? If you were in Phil's shoes, Gareth, where might you go in terms of the positions you might strengthen?
I think we need a backup forward to keep them all, somebody of similar size. Because Keeper Moore has been fantastic for us in terms of his overall physicality. He holds the ball up particularly well. And with the box midfield, I think it's both Broadhead and Josh into the game more often than not as two number 10s. It's a case of getting them more involved. Although we are playing with a box midfield, it's a very creative box midfield. There's a lot of rotations in there as well. But yeah, I see us improving on at least the position that we are in.
Blackburn Rovers next, Gareth, on New Year's Day up at Ewood Park, and then the next game here, of course, the FA Cup tie. The one thing we haven't seen in the recent era, and that's Premier League opposition against Wrexham. Nottingham Forest coming here on Friday, January the 9th. What chance would you give Wrexham against Sean Dyche's Premier League team?
Time will tell. If the current Wrexham team turn up, we will get there at the end of the day. We will give them a game at least. But not Forest. I watched them recently against Man City. They are a strong side as well. Obviously, they're in the Premier League at least. They're doing so well under Dyche at the moment. But yeah, let's see how it goes. Never write us off. That's one thing that I learned from playing in the FA Cup. Never write us off.
Let's talk a bit about that, Gareth, because, of course, when the FA Cup comes round, it's rare for us to be joining in the third round, of course. This is something that hasn't happened for a very long time. But this time, it is an FA Cup third round tie. You had some great adventures in the FA Cup with Wrexham, Gareth, looking back. The Arsenal game, of course, in '92, but then West Ham that followed in the next round where you took them to the replay. Manchester United as well. Of all your experiences of playing in cup ties, do they have a sort of feel in the dressing room that's totally different to a league afternoon?
Yes, they certainly do. Back then, we weren't in the fear of anything back then because we're youth back then of no fear. Back then was all of our attitude. But we desperately needed good professionals to learn from back in the day. Gordon Davis back in the Arsenal days, Mickey Thomas, obviously, the great Joey Jones there. I learned so much from Joey Jones. But it was a mixture of youth and experience back in the day. Although you mentioned the West Ham days, the Lee Jones goal, it was fantastic times for all of us at the club. Middlesbrough, Ipswich, although they weren't. They were all in the FA Cup, not league games, but we were known back then as a fighting team, they were laid down team as well. And the underdogs, it was an underdogs feeling in the changing room as well.
And let's talk a bit more about that West Ham game, Gareth, because in the previous round, of course, it was the famous victory over Arsenal here, and the narrative everyone remembers, Wrexham had finished 92nd of 92 the previous year. Arsenal were the reigning champions. We know the story well, the great story of Mickey's goal and Steve Watkins' winner. But the next round saw Wrexham go away to West Ham United, who were also a top-flight team, and draw 2-2, bring them back here in front of 4,000 more people that came to the Arsenal game, and unluckily lose 1-0. And that gets a little bit forgotten in that narrative, doesn't it? Because to go to West Ham and get a draw and bring him back here, equal almost to the victory over Arsenal.
Yeah, that was the most fantastic experience of my life. Walking out and seeing this cup here full of heads. Back then.
The replay or the original game at West Ham? The replay.
1-0 I think was Austin that game. The 2-2, that was my best performance as a Wrexham player. That's our class as my best performance of my time here.
And that's out of your 500 almost games for the club, so that was your best night.
Yeah, my best performance personally. But that pass may live. That pass made that pass live long in my memory. But they were all good days for me, and all good guys to be around as well.
Some terrific experience. We've just got a minute or so while the players are coming out, Gareth, but I don't want you to go without a quick word on the women's under-19s. You're still head coach of that side. Just give us an overview of progress for the under-19s women so far this season.
Yeah, the league is only small because there's only 3 teams in the league, but we won the first phase of the league. The FAW are taking it upon themselves to give us the fixes for the next phase, although it's a last-minute thing with them. But we're heading into the phase 2. But the phase 2 includes 5 teams from the south, the South League. But the under-19s is doing very well at the moment. Grace Morris is doing very well at the moment. She's our main goal scorer. But Anna Jones made a debut on Sunday. Only a friendly for Anna Jones to go in. Make a debut, but he did so well for 60 minutes or something like that. But it's so I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of the way that they adapt themselves and the way that they apply themselves weekly.
Gareth, fantastic to see you. So pleased to hear of the progress of the under-19s. We hope you'll come and see us again on Matchday Live before the end of the season. Wishing you all the very best for the second half of the season, both with the women's team and, of course, with Wrexham men. Well, the players are out behind us. It's time for us to go. We'll be back at full time. Fantastic to have Gareth Owen, Wrexham legend, with us, joining us on Matchday Live. We'll see you back here in about 50 minutes to see if Wrexham can hold on and secure back-to-back wins for the first time in the league this season. We'll see you then.
Substitution for Preston North End, leaving the field, number 44, Brad Fox. He's being replaced by number 2, Paul Valentine. Substitution for PNE, leaving the field, number 10, Mas Krojka. He's being replaced by 24, Michael Smith. Substitution for Wrexham leaving the field, number 18, Ben Sheep. He's been replaced by number 15, George Dobson. Leaving the field, number 10, Josh Windass. He's been replaced by number 20, Ollie Rathbone. Goal scorer for Wrexham, number 20, Substitution for PME, leaving the field, number 5, Harrison Armstrong. He's been replaced by number 18, Jamal Lewis. Leaving the field, number 6, Liam Lindsay. He's been replaced by number 8, Harry McCall. substitutes for Wrexham in the field, number 33, Nathan Broadhead. He's been replaced by number 16, Rodriguez. Mae Broadhead yn sôn wedi dynodi gyda'r lleol syml 4 munud o chwanegol. The court official has indicated there will be a minimum of 4 minutes added time. That's 4 minutes. Thank you all for your fantastic support. Tonight's final score, the Stoke Kairas. Wrexham 2, Preston North End 1. Maent y dog hynal y Stoke Kairas 10,616. The official attendance of the Stoke Kairas 10,616. Our grateful thanks to the
Full time here at the Stoke Kairas, and Wrexham have gone back to back with league wins for the first time this season. They've beaten Preston North End by 2-1. Nathan Broadhead's header in the first half, backed up by super sub Ollie Rathbone's intervention in the second. It took him just 2 minutes against Watford on his return to score. This time it took just 7 as Rathbone ran on to a pinpoint slide rule pass from fellow substitute George Dobson to finish beyond Daniel Everson. Alfie Devine pulled one back for North End, who wouldn't go away in the second half, but Wrexham held firm. A physical battle in which the home side have come out on top and follow up their Boxing Day triumph over Sheffield United with another priceless 3 points. Mia Roberts and Andy Morell have been enjoying that one. Mia, your full-time reflections.
Well, we weren't going to end 25 with anything else, were we? I don't think it was ever in doubt. Surely not. But no, for me, that was a real test of this team's credentials. And, you know, to lose Kiefer Moore after 45 minutes, to concede on 84th minute when, obviously, like you say, we haven't had those back-to-back wins yet. And to be tested against a team of Preston's quality, you know, they're up there for a reason. You know, and to get through that, I think shows a lot. And I think people will be looking at that result and the timings of those goals and you know, players on the pitch and going, okay, they're starting to click, and I think we should be worried, because to me that's what that performance was all about today.
Andy, in the 70th minute, we saw the sign go up from the Wrexham bench. They decided to deploy Rathbone and Dobson and withdrew Windass and Sheaf. At that stage in the game, Preston were having a really good spell, weren't they? Asking lots of questions in and around the 18-yard box, and Devine had a great opportunity on the hour, arriving on the far post from a corner, which perhaps he should have done better with. But that substitution, that double substitution from Phil Parkinson, really changed the dynamic in the final quarter.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think he alluded to it before the game, didn't he, that if he needed to, he's got a really strong bench to go to. And you saw the two lads that came on in Rathbone and Dobson, that they were just desperate to get involved in the game, and they proved the clinical point in that second half, where they cut through Preston like a knife through butter, and then it's a lovely finish, really composed finish. Similar to O'Brien's been getting in those positions, but he showed that little bit of composure maybe today to put it in the net, and it makes it 2-1. Divine's goal obviously changes it a little bit, but I think that performance today, it showed every facet of what a team needs to do in a game. It's a completely different win to what we had a few days back against Sheffield United, because we had to play our football. We played our football brilliantly in the first half, and then we had to dig in that second half really to stop Preston coming, because they were in good form and creating chances, but bodies on the line, defensively strong. Doyle was excellent. Matty James, 290s on the bounce, fantastic again. Huge plaudits to all the team, because that's a big win for me.
Just to hold on Ollie Rathbone for a moment, I saw a LinkedIn post, Andy, which he had written after he scored against Watford, where he was dedicating the goal to his parents who were there on the night, and saying what huge support they had been to him ever since he got injured and then was down the pecking order. And he implied in that post that he'd actually contemplated quitting football. So just to give a sense of perspective, you've been there as a pro for many years and had bad injuries, come back from those. To see a player kind of retreat that far and then obviously burst back into life again just shows you the roller coaster nature of being a pro.
Yeah, and sometimes when you are injured, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. You just can't see it. You're getting little setbacks, little knockbacks. You're going to be coming back in 4 weeks, and it's 6 weeks, and you just can't ever get over that line to get him back fit. And he had his couple of niggles when he did get back out on the grass. But it just shows how quickly this game can change from fortunes, and you make your own luck in this game. And he's worked his socks off. He's trained hard, waited for his opportunity, took it. Was it Watford that he scored against? And then now he's just come on again and just taken that opportunity again, and he'll be in the thoughts for the next couple of games coming up, because he's going to have to fresh it up and move people around, especially with the injury to Kiefer. We're going to have to maybe do something a bit different. Who knows, but he's certainly put himself in the shop window, hasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly has. And Kiefer Moore withdrawn at half-time. We'll get some information on that shortly, hopefully from Phil Parkinson. But I know that one of the goal scorers from tonight is just arriving at our pitchside studio to give us his immediate reflection. So we'll bring Nathan Broadhead straight into conversation. Nathan, come on in. Great to see you. Welcome to Matchday Love. Lovely to see you on our show for the first time. Well, congratulations on the win, the first back-to-back league wins of the season. What was it like to play in?
Yeah, I mean, first half I thought we played well, but obviously second half our backs were against the wall a little bit. But obviously we got the goal 2-0 up, and then obviously they got one back, and it was a bit of pressure from them. So I'm glad that we seeded it out. So yeah.
On Boxing Day, it was you driving forward from midfield to lay it on for Kiefer Moore. Tonight, your fellow Welsh international striker did it for you with that cross from wide on the right. Is that a particular movement that you've looked at in training, of him getting wide and crossing for you? Because quite often it's the other way around.
Not really, no. I think as free attackers, it's more off the cuff. There's freedom up there when we play, and we've got the quality to pick each other out. And we're dangerous in this league, the three of us. So yeah, I'm just buzzing for the next game.
A header from you tonight. You just got away a little bit, didn't you, from Liam Lindsay to give yourself that opportunity. As the cross was coming in, was there something that flashed through your mind in terms of a piece of movement or how you were going to make sure you took advantage?
No, to be fair, I tried to drag him front post, and then I peeled out to the back post, which I don't really do much. But yeah, he fell for it, and luckily enough, I hit it back across the goal, so it went in. Yeah.
It looked a very physical game today, Nathan, even by championship standards. Did it feel like that to play in?
Yeah, definitely. I think when you play against Preston, even home or away, I think they try and make it scrappy and play off little bits. But they are a good side, don't get me wrong. But yeah, we dealt with their pressure and how they play. So today I thought we did all right, yeah.
Half a season into your Wrexham career now. Does it feel like home?
Definitely, yeah. I'm getting there. I'm enjoying my football again, and I'm just buzzing to be here, and hopefully we can get Wrexham up.
Kiefer, we didn't see return after he went off just before half-time. What was the problem that he encountered?
I think he felt his hamstring, to be fair, but I'm not sure how bad it is. But, you know, we know what Kiefer's all about, and yeah, he's been a big help for us this season, and we just need to get him back fit and ready to go again.
And you're going to be finishing 2025 in the top half of the championship table. That must give you all as a squad a lot of belief as you look up rather than down going into 2026.
Yeah, for sure. I think the squad that we have, the characters that we have, and the quality, we can only go up really in terms of up the table, and that's our belief. And yeah, we're confident that we can do that.
I know you've only just finished this game, Nathan, but Blackburn coming next on New Year's Day. What sort of threat do you think they'll give you up at Ewood Park?
I think on transition they're very dangerous. When they played us here, I thought they were quite dangerous on transition when we lost it. And yeah, they kind of sit back and wait for them little passes and try and counter us. So we need to try and control the game and take our chances.
Excellent. Well, Nathan, huge thanks for coming to see us so promptly after full time tonight. Congrats both on the header and on the win, and all the best for Blackburn on New Year's Day.
Thank you. Cheers.
Nathan Broadhead, Wales and Wrexham striker, on target tonight for Wrexham with the first of the evening, setting Phil Parkinson's side on their way to a 2-1 victory over a stubborn and physical Preston North End side. I think we'll be hearing from Phil Parkinson quite soon as well, but just before Phil joins us, Mia, what a header that was from Broadhead tonight. Perhaps a player known more for his feet than with his head, but showing he's got that in his armoury as well, with a subtle deception that he's told us about as well to get rid of Liam Lindsay.
Yeah, he certainly did fall for it, didn't he? Nice to hear a North Walian accent as well here, I think, as well for me. But no, he was, again, I thought he was really good tonight. You know, maybe not as involved as he was against Sheffield United, but for me, I thought the performance against Sheffield United was probably his best so far in a Wrexham shirt, and he didn't even get a goal that day. And I think, you know, that for me is what we haven't seen from Nathan Broadhead yet. We've seen, you know, a few goals. He's got a few under his belt as we speak, and we've seen those individual little moments of brilliance, but you know, over the last 2 games now, I think we've seen it over the duration of the match, and I think that's what he's all about. That's what he can certainly bring, and a big part of that is because he's now got someone like Josh Windass next to him, or whether it's someone like Ollie Rathbone as we move forward as well.
I think the role suits him, you know, with
Really,
2 around him, 3 extra players up around that front 3, if you like. He's got more options. He's got people moving, people around him, so he can pick those pockets. Looks like he's playing with a bit more of a smile on his face, a bit more free since Windass has come in next to him. So long may it continue, because I think there's a real player in there, isn't there? We've all known that since he's come. He's just shown it in little small pieces, but that's 2 games back to back where, for me today, he was good, really good in first half, but second half he showed the qualities the other side, where he blocks passing lanes. He's hard to get past, you know, just doing a job for the team when he's not necessarily on the ball.
A big night for Nathan Broadhead in partnership with Josh Windass and Kiefer Moore, and then latterly Sam Smith when he came on to replace Moore. Phil Parkinson is in alongside me, out nice and quickly. Phil, congratulations. First back-to-back wins of the season in the league.
Yeah, I mean, it's taken a while for that to come. But I think the way we've responded since the Swansea defeat has been outstanding. And I said to the lads yesterday that we showed the right mentality in the Sheffield United game after the Swansea defeat, and within the game now we had to show them mentality and accountability as individuals and collectively coming into a game where we've had a lot of praise after the Sheffield United game, and I thought we did really well. You know, they're a good side. They're up there. The lone players are very good for them, but I felt over the 90 minutes we had the better chances, and we deserved the win.
Talking to Nathan Broadhead just now, Phil, he thought that it was, even by championship standards, a particularly physical game tonight. Did you see it that way as well?
Yeah, they're a physical team. The defenders go in tight, and we knew that. And, you know, we also felt runners in behind, you know, would hurt them. And I thought Smudge typified that when he came on. And, you know, even though Kiefer has got a slight injury, I don't think it's too serious. You know, Smudge gave us those runs in behind, which was important against them, and they pulled him down, drew free kicks from them. Yeah, they're a good side. They've got some good players. But listen, we were good tonight, you know, some really top performances.
You mentioned there Kiefer's injury. Perhaps we could just touch on that, Phil. What's the latest?
Yeah, it's not. It didn't look a serious one, but, you know, it was enough to bring him off.
Was it a hamstring? That was
Nathan thought. His hamstring tightened off, so we'll see.
Okay. And then overall, over the 90, clearly in the first half, a great goal. Moore, the provider for Broadhead with his header. That must please you that they can interchange, because Broadhead provided for Moore on Boxing Day and now swapping sides.
Yeah, I think the you know, the cross was outstanding, and Broady, that is a real textbook header. and you can ask all the lads and all the staff. Broadie is good in the air. He had a great header in the cup game early in the season, but in training, his timing is incredible, and that was a top class finish.
When you made your changes in the second half, Preston were having a good spell, weren't they? But you elected to make that double change in midfield with Drew, Sheaf and Windus, brought on Ollie Rathbone as well as George Dobson, and then Dobson plays in Rathbone for the goal. That must give you huge satisfaction as a manager when a substitution, a double like that, works so well. Yeah,
I think fresh legs was going to be important. I mean, Josh equally has been playing with quite a bad whack to his calf. He was a doubt the other day, and obviously, when you come off the painkillers, kind of the impact of that intensified a bit from yesterday. So he'd put a good shift in. But yeah, the two lads who came on, superb, really great. The second goal, if you watch the build-up play down this left-hand side and finding Dobbo in space and the calmness for the pass and the finish was important. And if you analyse the game, our subs probably had more impact than theirs, and that's what we needed, and they did great.
And it's the second time that Ollie Rathbone has come on and scored for you within a handful of minutes. Took him a little bit longer this time than the 2 minutes against Watford, Phil. But does that show as much about his character as about technique to be able to come on and then give you a major moment like that?
Yeah, well, everyone knows he's a great finisher, right foot and left foot. And when the ball dropped to him, you always felt that it was a great chance he was going to score. And we spoke to the lads at half time about that, the mentality of being one up, that we've got to go and get the next goal. We don't want to sit deep, we've got to keep pressure on the ball, and we want to go and get the next goal. And we did it. We had other chances to get it, as much as hit the post. He's had a great chance. The keeper's made a save to the right as well. We've had a couple of other good moments, but it finally came, and obviously they've conceded scored a late consolation goal, but I'm not going to let that ruin the night tonight.
Just a quick word on Callum Doyle. Well, it seems that each week he's looking more and more comfortable and offering more and more threat in attack and linking up down the left-hand side with George Thomason, obviously, at the moment, but also giving you a lot of support across that back three.
Yeah, I mean, Cal is a high-calibre player. Obviously came in, work to do with his fitness because he'd missed a lot of the work. Probably getting the suspension probably helped in a way because we were able to give him a mini pre-season. He's bought into everything we've asked him to do. And he's a winner. He wants to win every day in training, and you can see it out there. And yeah, I mean, he won headers. His passing, he's so creative from that left side centre back position, and he definitely gives the opposition something to think about when they're preparing the side.
And then the last in the run of Christmas fixtures looming up now on New Year's Day, a trip up to Blackburn, not too far to travel, Phil, but what sort of expectation have you got on the challenge that Blackburn will give you on New Year's Day?
Obviously played him recently, so hard work inside, very diligent out of possession. They've gone up to Middlesbrough, which I haven't seen how they got on tonight, and drew, and that didn't surprise me because they're very, very well structured. But yeah, we'll recover well and go there. We'll have our travelling army with us and look to get another result.
Fantastic. Well, Phil, thanks for coming to join us tonight. Congratulations on another great home win. Phil Parkinson, delighted to see his team back up the Boxing Day performance with a very different type of victory tonight, but prevailing over Preston North End by 2-1 to ensure they will finish 2025 in the top half of the Championship table. Let's have a look at the data from tonight's game then, the attack and defensive statistics, to summarise how this game was won for Wrexham, because it was a fair old physical tussle between these two sides, perhaps typified by a moment in the second half when Dom Hyam and Daniel Jebison were kind of wrestling each other to the ground. It really was a terrific contest, physically as well as technically. Over the 90, Preston shading possession, Wrexham having a couple more shots and having 4 clear-cut chances. The one by Alfie Devine that he put in the side netting, I'd have thought might have classified as a clear-cut chance for Preston, but the data experts perhaps suggesting not that many corners. Perhaps that was a surprise, Mia, from how many opportunities there seemed to be as the play switched from one end to the other.
Yeah, but to be fair, I didn't think either team were necessarily that direct. I think Wrexham maybe were more in that second half when Kiefer Moore's gone off and Sam Smith has come on, because they've dropped a bit deeper. So when they've won it back, they've had to be more direct to hit Sam Smith. But yeah, I thought neither side was maybe as direct as I thought they were going to be today, and sort of played off those seconds. But no, I think the sort of lack of like you say, you can only really think of the Vine one as a clear-cut one for Preston. Shows again, that solidity in Wrexham's midfield and back line as well, which, again, it was a very different game, like you say, to Sheffield United, and I think that's going to be the sort of story of the season now. It feels like every championship game is going to offer you something different, and it's how you respond and react to that.
I think we've just looked so much more creative with the three front players in the team, that we look like we've got a goal in us. We've had 6 shots on target. They've had 14 shots in total. That is so much more. It's just the type of football that you were wanting to see. And I know that Phil Parkinson is a bit more pragmatic with his approach, etc. But I think he just took the handbrake off a little bit against Sheffield United. Go on then, lads, see, especially at home. And we've seen the benefits of it.
Wrexham landing back-to-back scalps for the first time this season. It'll be interesting to see, won't it, if Phil Parkinson continues with this new formation and 3 up top when they go away to Blackburn Rovers. That's a 12:30 kickoff on New Year's Day. The next match here then, when we will be back with Matchday Live, will be Friday the 9th of January. That's a 7:30 kickoff UK time. Nottingham Forest Premiership opposition for Wrexham in the FA Cup 3rd round. Let's have a look at the defensive statistics tonight. It was a hard night for both defences. Wrexham's back 3 of Cleworth, Hyam and Doyle having to work hard, particularly when Michael Smith came on to join Daniel Jebison. 2 big, powerful centre forwards to deal with. Wrexham putting in more tackles over the 90 minutes and double the number of clearances, Mia.
Yeah, I thought they were brilliant in there. I think there was a couple maybe at the end where they've not won that first contact, but apart from that, I thought, again, Doyle, Hyam were just so on top of it. I think, I said it on comms, Jebison, he's a bit of a sort of messy striker at times. He's not necessarily got that clean first touch, but he can still cause you massive problems as a defender. If you get too tight, he'll feel that and use his physicality against you. But yeah, again, I thought they, stood up really well, and they just look like that solid 3 at the moment. I think Callum Doyle, again, for me, Andy said it on comms as well. Him and Matty James are right up there in terms of player of the matches tonight. I just think he's so important if we're going to play this way, and he has to be the outlet at times. But like Phil Parkinson says, he's so determined to do that. He's happy to do that, and he sort of has that sort of attitude when he's pressing forward, that he's sort of saying, well, come and get the ball off me. If you're not, then I'll go forward myself and I will cause you problems.
Let's have a look at the results then today and where it leaves the championship table. We've still got 1 match in progress. Birmingham against Southampton's an 8:15 kickoff, but we can have a look through what else has been happening in the championship today, and then we'll see how that all shakes out in terms of the final league table of 2025. Well, Ipswich won at Coventry in the early game this evening to continue their excellent run. Leicester stemming what's been a bad run for them with a 2-1 win and the bragging rights against East Midlands rivals Derby County. Hull City beaten by a 0 at home, winning rather by a 0 at Middlesbrough. Millwall beating Bristol City by 2-1. Norwich City beaten at home by Watford. They continue to struggle and will start 2026 in the relegation places. Oxford beaten at home by Swansea City. Portsmouth triumphing over Charlton Athletic by 2-1. Charlton really in wretched form at the moment and sliding the wrong way down the table. Sheffield Wednesday picking up a point against goal-shy Blackburn Rovers. Stoke beaten at home by Sheffield United, who bounced back from their victory, or rather their defeat, here on Boxing Day with a well-earned victory at the Bet365 Stadium. West Brom beating QPR by 2-1, and Birmingham City against Southampton is 1-1 at the moment. And that game will probably not end when we go off air on Matchday Live, but all square at the moment at St Andrews. Let's have a look at where that leaves then the championship table, with the Birmingham Southampton game still live at the moment. And what we're going to see is Wrexham in the top half as we close out 2025. That's a good sight in 11th place in the table. That 8th win of the season coming today. 10 draws and 6 defeats, a positive 3 goal difference, and 4 points, Mia, from the edge of the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's exactly just where you want to be, really. You know, you don't have to be right in there at this moment in time. Just stay with that pack. And I think, you know, that'll really please Phil Parkinson and his staff and this whole team. You know, that picture there in that top half. Just look at some of those names, obviously, around us. We've obviously played every team in this league now at this point. And I think there'll be a bit of excitement and, you know, some real anticipation from Wrexham fans at the moment because, you know, in my personal opinion, I can't think of too many games this season where we've been fully outclassed and outplayed. I think, you know, you look at every side around you right there and you go, you know what, if we keep doing what we're doing, we've got a real chance to do something really special this season.
Well, I'd say Preston were one of them.
Yeah.
You know, those teams that I thought they're half decent, their rotations, etc., their ball retention. I thought they were one of the teams that caused us a few problems, but for their place, and we got away with a 1-1 draw in some ways. But then you could bring them back here and then you go and beat them at home. So, listen, I think that's going to look very, very pretty. And I think every Wrexham fan would have took it at the start of the season, you know, saying over halfway. And I don't think we've played everybody, and I don't think there's another team in there that has smashed us or looked like they're going to run away with it. So, thoroughly looking forward to the second half of the season.
Yeah, it's only really the first few games, wasn't it, when the team were trying to adapt and there were some defensive gaps. You know, the late goals conceded at Southampton, the challenges at home to Sheffield Wednesday and West Brom. But once those first few games were navigated, that crucial early win down at Millwall, the good win at Norwich as well, and then momentum has been solid, hasn't it? And they've become hard to beat and found different ways to win.
And as well as that, I think, you know, you've still got people like Akache, Kabore to come back into this squad. We obviously don't know if there's going to be activity in January. So I just think there's still so much to get from this squad. Obviously, we're only seeing the early days of that trio. You know, only 2 games we've seen from the start with them 3. Obviously, we hope Kiefer, you know, can come pretty much straight back in. But, you know, of this festive period, 6 points from 6. You know, 2 really big home games against some really top opposition in Sheffield United and Preston. It gives you a little bit more confidence and a lot less pressure now going into that New Year's Day game at Blackburn, which, you know, could have been a real sort of nervy one, you know, starting the new year. And if you had dropped points in these last 2, especially following that Swansea defeat as well. So, you know, they've made their life a lot easier going into that one now, which I think is huge, you know, from a mental point of view as well.
Yeah, you can go have a pretty free hit at the Blackburn one now after the 2 wins at home. It's put you into the top half of the table. Go and play and go and enjoy yourselves and see if we can pick up something, because it's a bonus on top of the home form that has been so important these last few months.
Gareth Owen was saying at half-time to me, Andy, that he would go in the January transfer window and if the right players were available would look to strengthen the squad. And I asked him where, and he thought potentially another striker to give Kiefer Moore a bit of support, potentially if there's an injury issue to strengthen in that area. I guess when you get into this sort of form, and as Mia says, with players like Kakachi and Kabore to come back in, the question is, do you feel you need to, or have you got the reinforcements because you've got Cannon coming back from injury, Rodrigo's only just back in the squad? Are more players needed?
Well, I think you'll always be searching and you'll always want to better what you've got. There won't be in such a rush, I don't think, to do it. But I certainly think that a couple of fresh faces in January always helps the squad in standards. And as a player, you see them coming through the door and you're sort of more like, well, I'm going to show them I'm a good player. So the standards and the intensity goes up and it will drive them on in that second part of the season.
Full time here then, if you're just joining us on Matchday Live, it's finished Wrexham 2, Preston North End 1. A real battle for Wrexham in the second half, but they have prevailed to bank the 3 points. And centre-back Dom Hyam is going to step into the studio and tell us what it was like to play in that battle. Congratulations, Dom, on the win. Good to see you join us on Matchday Live. That looked like a physical old battle for you today.
Yeah, it was. A really tough game. A game of 2 halves, I think. I think we played really well first half and Preston came into it in the second half, but I think we showed great character to get the win in the end today.
You and Daniel Jebison looked like you were getting on out there. I particularly enjoyed the kind of wrestling tussle you had on the touchline in the middle of the second half. Was that typical for you of having played so much as you have in the Championship, of a big centre forward that you're having to deal with, or was he a particular threat for you today to have to try and neuter?
Good question. I think, to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed with the first half on Boxing Day for myself personally. So I sort of set it about myself today to be a lot more physical than I was and a bit more up for the physical challenge, and I felt like I was that today. That's what it is as a defender. It's your bread and butter, and I need to do more of that.
Dom, I just want to touch on, obviously, a few times this season, losing points from winning positions, obviously conceding on the 84th minute today. Was that something that enters your mind? Is that something that's been spoken about over the last few weeks?
A
I don't think we've spoken about it too much internally, but yeah, there's always pressure, and especially when they score so late, we just want that whistle to come. Like I said before, they were coming into it the second half and they penned us back in some moments, but we showed some good quality on the counter attack and scored a good goal ourselves. But yeah, it's just one of them that we need to batten down the hatches and defend well and show what we're about. Like I said, game of two halves, and I thought we did that second half.
We've seen you at left centre back, Dom, and now in the central position. Do you have a preference?
No, not really, to be honest. I think maybe, if I had to say, maybe centre, just because I've played a few games now and I can read the game a bit better now, and it's nice to have a bit of youth either side of me. So yeah, as long as I'm on the pitch, I don't mind where I play.
And talking about Max and Callum Doyle, obviously you've had plenty of experience at this level before with other defenders, at Blackburn in particular, recently. Just talk to us a little bit about what they bring and how you're trying to work now as a combination, because this obviously has been the three that Phil has gone with for the last few games. Yeah, both extremely talented young players with big futures, no doubt. Both work really hard and are great characters, so yeah, it's good that I can sort of guide them in my own way as well. So yeah, like I say, extremely talented boys, and the main thing for me is that they work really hard and they want to improve as well. So I think that's a testament to them. And then the dressing room, I'm sure, was a fun place to be on Boxing Day. How does the atmosphere today compare to the atmosphere post-match against Sheffield United in there? Yeah, similar. We know how big wins are in this league and how hard it is to win a game of football in this league. So I don't know if it might have been the first time we've gone back-to-back wins as well. So yeah, just a bit of realism and just appreciating that not all games are pretty and not all games are going to be 3 and 4-0. We haven't kept the clean sheet in quite a while now, but we're winning games. So as long as we're getting points, then we'll be happy in there. So yeah, similar vibes, and hopefully we can back it up again. You went close to making it into the playoffs with Blackburn last season. Do you think this is a squad that could make the playoffs this time? Definitely, yeah. That's a big reason why I came here. The quality of the squad's there for everyone to see. They made some unbelievable signings and kept the core from last year and some of the boys from the year before as well. So yeah, I don't see why not. There's probably a cluster of 10 teams who think they can, but I think we're in and amongst it. We need to keep this run up if we can, and just gain momentum and pick up some more points away from home. And it's a long old season. There's going to be ups and downs, but we need to be there or thereabouts at the end of it. And next up, a ground you know very well, Ewood Park on New Year's Day. What sort of reception are you expecting? I'm not sure. Don't really know. I've got obviously business to get down to. It's a big game. Hopefully we can get a good result again. But I've had some great years at Blackburn. Made a lot of friends there. So yeah, great experience for me to go back there. And Gus Williams, of course, here at Wrexham, who I think first signed you for Blackburn Rovers and is back now heavily involved in the academy. Yeah, I saw him at Collier's actually a few months ago, and I was just like, "What are you doing here?" Yeah, told me about his new role, and yeah, it was good to see him, and yeah, just good to see a familiar face. Excellent. Well, Dom, congratulations today, both on your performance and on the win, and all the very best for your return to Ewood Park on Monday. Cheers. Dom Hyam, the Wrexham centre-back, starring today in marshalling his defence against the best that Preston North End could offer as Wrexham secure all 3 points. He's very much looking the part, Mia.
Absolutely, what a signing. I mean, I think, it'd be fascinating to know what he was sort of going through in those sort of late hours of deadline day. Obviously, he was a late one to get through the door. And
last one in, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Him and obviously Ben Sheaf pretty late on that day. So, that he looked like, what a decision that was to actually get that one over the line, because them two have made a real impact, particularly Hyam, I think, coming into that back line, obviously filling in at the left side of centre as well, and he is that Mr. Reliable. I think you said that when we signed him, didn't you? About just you're always going to get a 7 out of 10 from him pretty much week in, week out. And really interesting, I thought, he said he was poor in that first half on Boxing Day. Listen, I don't think we were great defensively opening up, but clearly seeing that he's sort of beating himself up for that and going, I wasn't good enough and I need to be better. And that's the mentality you want, from all your players, but especially someone who in the last few games has obviously pulled on the armband as well. He'll be demanding that not only from himself, but from everyone around him.
I touched on Gus Williams there, and it was Gus who took Hyam to Blackburn from Coventry when he was in that role recruiting Blackburn Rovers. And when I chatted to Gus a few weeks ago about Dom, he described him as a colossus. Right. And I'd been impressed with him in previous matches, but I think today was the first time I actually thought I could see why that word particularly was used by Gus, just by the way he dealt with the physicality of Jebison and just gave him nothing, absolutely matching him toe-to-toe.
Yeah, and I think his intensity was just a little bit higher than it was on Boxing Day, where he was going snappier into his tackles, he was going stronger into those tackles, a bit more intent in those, and he's obviously reflected on his performance then and gone, I need to be a little bit better for my team to just set that standard, because if he's doing it, then the next person does it, and that starts this domino effect throughout the team. So calm though when he's speaking there, and he's been there, he's done it, you know, and I think that's going to rub off on our two younger boys either side of him, and it's going to help them immensely in their training and their games, and hopefully that back three, it looks like it's got a bit of everything.
Yeah, I was going to say, Emil, obviously other players will be needed as the season goes on and form can come and go, but if you drew a constant and said everybody playing at their best, would you say that was Wrexham's best back three?
Yeah, well, I think that's a discussion, you know, for the whole sort of 11 that we've had a few times this season. You know, what actually is that best 11? And obviously we were saying about the trio of Windass, Moore and Broadhead. You know, can we get them in? But that back three for me, yeah, I think that is the one. I think Doyle's been so good in the last few weeks. Obviously, I think Cleworth we sort of push off a little bit because we just sort of expect him to do what he does, and maybe he doesn't get the recognition for obviously making the step up that he has at times. But yeah, they certainly look like the trio that are probably going to lead the way. And I think, you know, as we're sort of in the middle now of this festive period and you're looking at that squad rotating, I think you'd probably say, well that three can just stay the same, you know, unless obviously something happens.
And Andy, if you had to put a pound on it, I wouldn't put too much more than that, but if you had to put a pound on it, will Phil Parkinson go with the same 11 at Blackburn? Will he go for that three-pronged attack?
I think he'll do exactly like he's done for this little gap between the Boxing Day game. Is he'll have a look at his players, he'll see who's about. He said Windass is carrying a little bit, he said Max was carrying something the other day. He'll just have a little look at them, they'll all recover in the right manner. The ones that didn't play much will train hard, I would expect, over the next couple of days, and then he'll look at them in their shape and in their little fiver that they'll have the day before, and then I'm sure he'll just go, if he can, I think he would love to stick with it and just give it a go away from home, because like I said, there's nothing really to lose out there, and Blackburn are really hard to break down, and so we've got to do something away from home that was better than we showed at Swansea, and we've shown that at home, so can we take that form now into an away game?
That is indeed the big question as we move into 2026. Andy Meir, thank you very much, not just for today, but throughout 2025 on Matchday Live. A pleasure as ever. Look forward to seeing you in 2026.
Absolutely.
Starting with a cup adventure on Friday, the 9th of January. Here's hoping it could be the start of another famous FA Cup run. We touched on a few of those, didn't we, with Gareth Owen at half-time. Here's hoping that might be the icing on the cake in the second half of the Championship season. So 2025 is done and dusted at the Stoke Wrexham this evening recording their first back-to-back wins of the league campaign. But then again, it wouldn't be 2025 round here, would it, without a bit of back-to-back. Thanks for all your support and watching Matchday Live throughout 2025. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's show. We look forward to joining you again in 2026 for that FA Cup tie on Friday the 9th of January against Nottingham Forest. Enjoy the New Year's celebrations. Diolch yn wylio, and we'll see you very soon. Good night.